Coming up in the news, a sign of recovery in the business sector. Help for a small community devastated by the recent storm. And a Jamaican reggae artist arriving for a tour of storm-ravaged areas. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening. I'm Natalia Hall. Thank you so much for tuning in. A leader in the island's business sector now back up and running after incurring thousands of dollars in damage and loss of inventory. The Bahamian Brewery is now back in business. Its return is viewed as a positive sign that the economy is recovering after Monster Storm Dorian 7 weeks ago. Jamila Mizik reports.
The Bahamian Brewery, located on Queens Highway, is making a comeback despite incurring significant damage from Category 5 Hurricane Dorian. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Peter Turnquest touring the facility to see the progress made in their restoration efforts. He says it is a symbolic opening that says to the business community that things are starting to return to normal.
We are very pleased and excited that this retail store is open. We expect that others will be following suit in short order as we start to get this whole community back up and running and back to where we were. Of course, you know that Sands Brewery is still out of commission for a while, but the commitment to reopen is one that I think, again, we have to hold on to because it brings opportunity. As was indicated and explained to us earlier, they're going to modernize some of the equipment that they have, which will even make them better than they were before, more efficient than they were before, and hopefully the volumes will be even more increased, and the employment opportunities, the social opportunities will increase as a result of it.
The DPM noting that the staff at the brewery remain employed.
One of the things I do want to commend Sands Brewery, Jimmy's Liquor Store for, is that they have retained their employees. And, you know, there are so many businesses that have laid off or have closed during this period. And so I want to congratulate and thank them for keeping on the majority of their staff, which I think is going to help, again, with them, the employees getting their lives back together and getting this community back up and running.
Bahamian Brewery General Manager Gary Sands says it was a huge team effort to get the retail store back up and running, and he believes the reopening is a sign of hope.
It's not me that put the store together. It's people like Mr. Russell, Mrs. Lang, my sister Kelly, and the team under her that spent countless hours, Sundays, Mondays, Saturdays, holidays, until 11 p.m. at nighttime to put the store back to where it is today. I think it gives a good positive hope of light. It's showing people that we're back here, we're reopening. People now can see that businesses like us and giving hope for other businesses to reopen, and we feel confident that the economy will eventually turn back over.
Now the brewery is expected to be able to start production again in April. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Jamila. In other news, the official death toll from Hurricane Dorian has increased to 67. NEMO officials telling the media that police in Abaco recovered a body in Dundas Town, Abaco today, and another body was recovered in the mud on Thursday of last week. Now, 10 of those victims are from Grand Bahama. At last report, some 29 persons are still listed as missing on Grand Bahama. The eastern community is still without electricity, and many living in that area are still in need of assistance. 2 mission groups have combined efforts to help those living in the settlement of Freetown. Romiko Knowles has the story.
Hurricane Dorian destroyed 90% of the homes in Freetown, and as a result, many of the persons living in this area are displaced. Well, 2 mission groups are joining forces to assist residents with home repairs and help get them back into their homes. Service, evangelism, and assistance. Sea Mission has been traveling to the Bahamas for some 20 years, conducting vacation Bible school and a sports camp in the summer. Director Eddie Baylock says over the years they've developed a love for Bahamians, adding that the people living in East Grand Bahama are like family.
We love these people, and so we're here to assist when we see the tragic situation that you're in right now. We want to come help when we can, and so we put together teams of men and women, by the way, both want to come to just do what we can, and we're trying to organize here today so that we can bring teams and have them busy the whole time, finding what we can do.
Some 4,000 volunteers from Experience Mission travel throughout the world giving assistance to those in need. Relief Coordinator Amanda Delbeck says they're happy to offer that assistance to Freetown residents.
Experience Mission has been around since 2003. Prior to that, our founder and executive director has been organizing trips for many years prior to that as well. But we are a very relationally focused ministry, so we really want the partnership element of things. We want to come alongside the community and work together and to catch the vision of the local leaders and take their leadership in that as well.
Now, St. Cleveland Baptist Church will be used as a shelter for those lending a helping hand. Pastor Preston Cooper says whilst East Grand Bahama has been receiving a great deal of relief supplies, he's thrilled that they're now focusing on home repair.
As pastors, a lot of our members are somewhat agonized. They are anxious to return home to East Grand Bahama, whether they are in Sweeting Key or McLeanstown or Pelican Point, and indeed High Rock or Freetown. Those persons were forced to be in Freeport to family members or shelter, and they are anxiously waiting to return back home.
Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
A group out of Melbourne, Florida, helping residents of the Hudson Estate area to put their lives back together. Homes in that community were severely damaged by Superstorm Dorian. This group of Good Samaritans have stopped by to give a helping hand. Jamila Mizik has the story.
Disaster Aid Relief Team, or DART, out of Melbourne, Florida, has been on the ground in Grants, Bahama 3 days post-Hurricane Dorian, providing up to 20 to 30 pounds of food and water, along with generators and cleaning supplies. This week, DART COO Cameron Goodyear says they're helping residents in the Hudson Estate community.
We've been going homes to homes, handing out food directly to the people that are in need. We select families or peoples that have multiple people that give generators to. Today we're going to give out 4 generators here in the Hudson Estates. Just assessing, actually getting inside the buildings and saying, hey, this is what you need, and trying to figure out how we can help them and get them in the right direction to get themselves on their feet better.
He says persons should continue to donate to the island, not only goods and monetarily, but by giving their time and manpower.
I know back at home I hear, oh, they got enough. The news is reporting that they got so much stuff and they've got plenty, and that's definitely not the case. Being boots on the ground with the team of volunteers that we bring over every other week, we see it firsthand, and we know that it's far beyond what the ability to have what they need right now for food, water, and basic just soap. I mean, so yeah, they definitely need more of everything. I mean, just basic items that you wouldn't even think of. Women hygiene products, toilet paper, baby wipes, baby diapers. I mean, it's just unbelievable, the stuff that you don't think of, and you're like, wow, why didn't I think of that? It's just so basic to us as non-victims of the storm. And it very well could have been of us as well.
Hudson resident Fred Wood is one of the recipients of DART's assistance in the Hudson Estate community. He says he, his daughter, and her 5 children had to relocate due to Hurricane Dorian, and he's thanking DART for all of their help.
At the house here, we had to go to like 4 locations before we get to safety. So spend the night in the house in knee-high water. Next day we went over to another house in 2 feet of water, and we lift the beds up. That's how we was able to get some sleep that day. And Tuesday we went to someplace safer in the Xanadu area. So that's where I am now until we get some more normalcy back to where I live here in Hudson Estate. I'm thankful to DART for their assistance.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
We continue to pay tribute to a legend in broadcasting, former general manager and chairman Kelsey Johnson, who passed away last week. Johnson made an invaluable contribution to the broadcast industry in the Bahamas. Tonight, a former colleague who spent his entire career in radio says Johnson will be remembered for his commitment to excellence. Jamila Mizik has the story.
Even though he went into other areas, in the future, when the name Kelsey Johnson is mentioned, people would think Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Former director and deputy general manager of ZNS Northern Service, Byron Stubbs, says as a youngster he can recall listening to the late Kelsey Johnson on the radio. He says he remembers his unique sound and voice and the professionalism to broadcasting he exuded.
In terms of but the time that I came to ZNS and my interaction with him, it's always been good. He's always a professional. He would always, he had no problems correcting with out of love. You know, it's not any harsh or embarrassing kind of correcting you when you went wrong, which is required in the business. They were the standards in ZNS at the time were very high, and of course, at his executive level that he held, he not only exemplified it, but he tried to instill it in all who came up under him.
He says Johnson was a pioneer of radio here in the North.
As far as the Northern Service is concerned, he was the one who came here to establish the Northern Service in 1973 and to make sure to set it up. He was the first station manager for the Northern Service. So, you know, his contribution to radio, I think for television, radio would probably be equal with radio, in my opinion, would be a little more.
Stubbs says no doubt Johnson had a great love for the profession, for training and bringing up the younger generation.
If you wanted to know correct grammar, proper English, correct pronunciation, enunciation, you listened to ZNS and you would get it, because all of the persons in ZNS at the time, Kelsey Johnson, then Charles Carl Bethel, Ed Bethel, persons like that, when they were on the air, everything was proper, and everyone who came up under them, they held those persons to those standards. And
he says broadcasters in the industry can learn a lot from Johnson, and if they follow in his footsteps, the industry would be much better off. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. There's more news right after this break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Dolly Madison.